All right, is this shit recording? Okay, all right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. All right, this is going to be a video on controlling your anger and controlling your emotions. And this message goes out to, just exhorting, edifying, Lord willing, and edifying, uplifting message to the brothers and a few women that may listen. All right, this is James 1:19. It says, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High." All right, so the reason that I wanted to do this script, bring out this little message, the topic of being, controlling your anger and your wrath, is because, as we go through life, man, we deal with various different types of people. And not to get into my private life, man, but lately I just been dealing with someone that doesn't have good control over their anger, and they got that angry demon on them, that wrath demon on them, and it be sometimes taking hold of them and making them do and say and make decisions that are just lack foresight, and ultimately stuff that they're going to regret. And I just wanted to make this message for all the brothers. We all, in this life that we in this current incarnation, we all got our own battles to fight, our own demons to overcome, our own personal walk that the Lord has, predestined us to go through. And it comes with our own set of trials that we have to personally overcome within ourselves. Maybe certain mannerisms and certain habits from the world that we still have to overcome, or certain, emotional lack of control over certain emotions that we have to, just overcome within our own personal walk. And if you're struggling with your anger, then Lord willing, this video is going to help. All right. And I just wanted to, give my 2 cents on the topic. Again, I'm going to read James 1:19. It said, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath." And that word wrath just means anger. Right? "For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High." And really what I wanted to go into is because you got a lot of people in this world, a lot of people nowadays, they deal with the subject of emotional intelligence. And pretty much what that means is, well, let me look it up real quick. I wasn't planning on getting the definition, but I'm just going to get it. So it says emotional intelligence. It says emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. So a lot of people use this term, emotional intelligence. They use this term nowadays for exactly what it says. Basically, what they say is having emotional intelligence is being able to manage your emotions well and know how to react to them, right? But the scriptures have always spoke to us about emotional intelligence, and a part of, being spiritual, and a part of the fruits of the spirit is being able to manage and control your emotions, because when you manage and control your emotions, that's ruling your spirit. So as men, especially as men, it's a manly trait to control and be able to restrain yourself. All right. It's a manly trait to have temperance, which the word temperance means self-control. All right. And the specific emotion we're talking about right now is anger. As men, we have to definitely control our temper and control our anger, because when you get out of control, right, when that anger overcomes you, and they have the saying, oh, like you start seeing red, right? What that means, you start seeing red, red symbolically represents that emotion of anger. It also represents fire, you know, angerness, hot-headedness. So when they say you start seeing red, that means you've gotten overcome by that emotion. And now, instead of you controlling your emotions, that emotion is controlling you, and you've lost control over your spirit. And that's something that we can't allow to happen. All right. So as men, we have to control our anger, man. We have to control our anger. And like I said, I've dealt with a lot of people in life that have lacked control over their anger, and there's always negative consequences that happen, because when you lose control over your anger, you lack foresight, and you're only thinking of in the moment, and you don't know how your decisions are going to affect you later on, right? So we have to control our anger, and the scriptures tell us and give us multiple, scriptures on that, all right? And this is just one of them. Again, it said what? It said slow to speak, slow to wrath, right? So a part of being a spiritual man is supposed to be slow to anger, right? You're supposed to be slow to wrath, all right? Now, it's not, and I'm going to get more scriptures, it's not a negative thing to be angry. It's not a negative thing to be mad, all right? There's nothing wrong with being mad and being angry, okay? Yahushua was angry. He was upset when he came into the temple and he found people selling stuff in there. He was definitely angry there, right? So there's nothing wrong to be angry and upset. It's just that you should rather be slow to anger. Like it just said, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Anger is not something that just should, one little thing happens and then you're just ticked off and you're just completely losing yourself, right? That's not a good trait to have. Cause then you're not thinking, and you're not using foresight. Once that anger gets on you, you're just thinking in the moment. So we got to be slow to speak, slow to wrath. It says, for the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High. Exactly, because when that anger overcomes you, you're no longer in the spirit. So you're not working towards the righteousness of the Most High. You're no longer in the spirit, man. All right, you're not spiritual. You're being carnal, man. And a part of overcoming the old man, right? A part of overcoming the old man is what? Managing these different emotions that we have. That's a part of overcoming the old man, is to manage these emotions that this flesh has, and don't let these emotions get the better of you. All right. The new man is supposed to be a man that is a new spiritual man, and a spiritual man can manage his emotions. Okay. This is Ephesians 4:26. It says, be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. So again, the point that I wanted to stress is that it's really about, like I just read, emotional intelligence, man. This world, they came up with the term as of late. A lot of people use it, but the scripture's been speaking to us about emotional intelligence, right? The scriptures have always spoken to us about how to manage and control our emotions, right? And what emotions are negative and what emotions are positive. Okay. Anger is not a negative emotion. It's all throughout the scriptures. All right. We know the scriptures use the word indignation, right? In Malachi, where the Lord says he has indignation against the wicked forever. That word indignation means righteous anger. Okay. So anger is not a negative emotion. All right. Because the Lord, the Most High, Yahweh, has righteous anger towards Esau. Yahushua has righteous anger towards Esau and the wicked. So anger is not negative, but we have to manage it. All right. That's why this scripture here in Ephesians 4 said what? Be angry and sin not. So right here, it's a commandment. You can be angry, right? Just don't let that anger be an excuse to sin, right? And it said, be angry and sin not. So you can be angry, you can be upset. And we go into that word angry, it says to provoke, to arouse to anger, to be provoked with anger, be angry, be wroth, become exasperated. And let me look up that word exasperated real quick. That word exasperated, it says annoyed, especially because you cannot do nothing to solve a problem, right? So pretty much annoyed, another synonym with anger. So it said what? Be angry and sin not. So right here, the scriptures is already telling us how to control and manage our emotions. All right, the scriptures are telling us about emotional intelligence right here, which is managing your emotions. So, hey, we're in hell, man. We're in hell. There's always going to be something to be angry about. There's always going to be something to be upset about. There's always going to be something that's going to tick you off. All right, every day, if you let it, there's always going to be something to make you mad, man. You're always going to see something out here that'll get you upset. Majority of people you come across in life are not spiritual, so they're carnal, and that already is upsetting. All right, so we're in hell, man. The Lord knows we're in hell. Right, so a part of this trial of being in hell is ruling our spirit, man. Self-control, and one of the hardest things and one of the main things that we have to control is our emotions. Right, it's a trait of a woman to be emotional. As men, we cannot be emotional. We have to control our emotions. Emotional means your emotions get the better of you, not the fact that you feel and have emotions. We all have emotions, but when they start controlling you, that's when you're going off. So while we're in this hell, we got to manage and control our emotions, control our anger. All right. Ephesians 4:26, be angry and sin not. So you can be angry, but don't sin. All right. Don't let that anger be an excuse for you to lack foresight and do something that's wicked or do something that's off or offend a brother. You know what I'm trying to say? You have to manage your emotions, man. Right? So you can be angry, but that's not an excuse to sin. That's not an excuse to crash out, as they say. You may get pulled over by the cops and they may do something and they may have pulled you over for an unjustifiable reason, right? And they may be in the wrong. So you may be angry, and rightfully so, you can be angry, but don't let that anger be an excuse to go off and to do something carnal that's going to get you locked up or hemmed up, man. Like a lot of these people do. They get pulled over by the cops and they're angry, rightfully, but because they lack emotional intelligence, control, they can't manage their emotions, they do something dumb and carnal, and then they end up getting shot or arrested, right? We can't have that, man. We are in a terrible position, right? The odds are against us. So with the odds being against us, we have to rule ourselves more than ever, right? This is Proverbs 25:28. It says, he that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. All right. So a city, the walls of a city defend the city from invaders. Right. And that this city the city metaphorically could represent, your mind. Right. And if your mind has no walls up, meaning if you can't rule your mind, like if there's no defense, if every little thing just throws you off and gets you extremely upset, extremely angry, depressed, if all these emotions, you have no walls over your mind, you have no defense over your mind, you're not ruling your mind, then you're defenseless, man. You're just going to be a prey and you're just going to be controlled by your emotions, right? So we have to rule our spirit. Unless you're going to be like a city without no walls, your mind is going to be your mind is going to be open to demonic attacks. All right. And you're going to be controlled by your emotions that your flesh feels. So it's a manly and it's a spiritual trait to rule your spirit. You have to control yourself. You have to rule your spirit, especially more than ever. Like I said, we're in hell. All right, there's always something to be fucking angry about and to lose yourself in this place. There's always something that you could crash out about, but you can't let that happen, man. We have to have emotional intelligence. We have to manage our emotions and control our emotions, man. And it's spiritual to find ways to relieve stress and anger, right? That's a part of being balanced. All right. Of course, we know we pray, we read, we do these different things, but it's spiritual to take action, preventive preventive maintenance to release stress, relieve anger, right? Maybe if you got to get a stress ball, maybe if you got to go, they have what's called wrecking houses, something like that. If you just look it up, it's like a wrecking house. It's a place where you can go and just put on protective gear, and you can just go and break stuff and break shit with hammers and stuff. That's a way to relieve stress. Maybe if you like different sports, that can help you relieve stress. Man, even something as simple as playing a video game, man, right? But these are all different ways that we can use preventive maintenance, relieve stress, and manage our emotions, man. Because like I said, man, I've dealt with a lot of people that have no control over their emotions. And that's especially for a man, that's a very effeminate trait. So we have to control our anger, all right? We have to control your anger. Let me see. Another precept. Proverbs 14 and 29, it says, "He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly." So you see all throughout the scriptures, it's a trait that you're supposed to be slow to wrath, slow to anger, because that means you have patience. And patience is a godly trait. So you're supposed to be slow to wrath, slow to anger, man. We're supposed to be judges, kings, rulers. If a king gets thrown off and upset over every little thing, he's going to lack the ability to make reasonable and logical decision making if he just gets mad over every little thing, right? So we have to be slow to anger, slow to wrath, man. All right? It's not cute and it's not cool. It ain't manly and it's not tough and it ain't gangster to just get upset over every little thing and crash out. Because you have so many knuckleheads nowadays. They think they cool and tough because they gonna, "Oh, what'd you say, nigga? Huh? What'd you say, nigga?" And then they're gonna try to fight you over one little miscommunication, over one little misunderstanding. Man, that's not cool. That's an effeminate trait, man. That's how you die at war. That's how you die at war. That's why a lot of so-called Negroes, that's why y'all die in the streets. That's why y'all die and get put to death. It's because y'all are emotional and you can't control your emotions. All right. I'm just gonna get two more scriptures and end it out. All right. Let me see. Ephesians 4:31. "Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice." Right? So again, it's nothing wrong with being angry and being angry, but when it says let it be put away from you, it's really just talking about manage it. Manage those emotions, right? Don't let those emotions overcome you. And that's a part of managing your emotions, is a part of being a spiritual man. All right, like I said, you can be angry. There's nothing wrong with being angry, but the key is to be self-aware of the different changes that happen in your mind and your energy over your emotions. Be self-aware, like, okay, you know what? I'm very angry right now. Let me control myself, right? That's what you have to do. Okay, this is Galatians 5, and I'm gonna start at 22. It says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love." All right, which the fruits of the Spirit, I never forget, a brother said it, they're just godly traits, godly characteristics, right? Godly traits and mannerisms and things that godly traits that you're supposed to have in your spirit, man. So it says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith." And again, this video is about controlling your anger, right? Don't let that anger demon get the best out of you. Long suffering basically means patience. Long suffering and patience goes into controlling your emotions, right? Because briefly, man, I was I was locked up for a little bit, and when I was in the little county jail, hey man, not to get into situation, but when I was in there, I dealt with a lot of people that were extremely rough-headed, emotional men, quick to crash out, quick to call you out of your name, right? Quick to start stuff. Basically, I dealt with a lot of emotional grown men, effeminate grown men that had that anger demon on them, and they couldn't control it, man. So it was like a test. But I had to what? I had to utilize the fruit of the spirits, and I had to utilize long suffering, right? Meaning patience. I had to suffer their softness. You know, I had to suffer their effeminate nature and their lack of control over their emotions. And that's often what you have to do in this life, right? You're going to come across a lot of 2/3, a lot of you know, different type of people, and you gotta be patient. You gotta be right. Verse 23, it says, meekness, temperance, against such there is no law, and they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. So a part of crucifying the flesh, killing off the flesh, Xing out the flesh, is to control your emotions and better utilize the fruits of the spirit to manage and be self-aware of your emotions and control them, man. If it says, if we live in the spirit, let's also walk in the spirit. So that's really the point, man. You know, a part of living in the spirit, walking in the spirit, is battling against this carnal mind and the emotions that come with it. You know, being self-aware of what emotions are negative and positive, and managing them both with balance. You know, don't just ignore your anger, because we're angry for justifiable reasons, but control it, manage it, find different ways to relieve it. All right. And ultimately just continue being spiritual, man, and don't crash out. Just stay patient and wait for the Lord to come back. So with that, Lord willing, this video was edifying. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakwadash, Shalom.